Crime is everywhere and constantly on the rise. Quick and easy cases are solved daily, but what about those more sinister and cold cases that remain to be solved? Join Ashley Marino as she dives into the horror of some of these cases and sheds some light on what is truly behind the realm of darkness. Here is your host, Ashley Marino.
Hello, everyone. I have missed you guys. Last week I was on a family vacation in Arizona, so getting back into the swing of things. But tonight we're going to do something just a little bit different. So I'm sure a lot of you have seen that last weekend, my team Beyond the Dimensions, they had an event at Hinsdale House. And one of the things that we wanted to do as a team is give someone the opportunity to go who maybe didn't get a ticket, or, tickets might have sold out. So we had a contest. And tonight I have Mike Hatcher, who is part of Beyond the Dimensions, but I also have our contest winner, Thomas, who got to go out there Friday, spend the time with the team, investigate, do experiments, and all this stuff. So we're going to be talking to both of them to kind of see how things went, see what evidence they caught, and just kind of see how the camping went, because I heard there were storms. I heard all kinds of crazy things. Like I said, unfortunately, I wasn't there. But why don't we just bring them in? So everyone, please help me welcome Mike and Thomas. Hey guys, how are you?
Okay, I was responding to your dad's comment.
Oh.
Hey Mike, how you doing?
What's going on, Tom?
Not much. Good to see you again, and Ashley, nice to meet you. Other than your face up on the wooden zombie, so
yes. Yeah, Mike sent me that in Arizona, and I thought it was absolutely hilarious. I do have to say, I am so jealous that I missed that event. It looked, from the pictures and the videos I was getting, it looked so much fun. A little wet, but a lot of fun. So tell me.
A little wet?
Well, I don't know. I wasn't there. I was all the way in Arizona, so it was 115 and sunny and hot and all of that. So fill me in, fill all of us in. Tell us what happened, what experiences, what was it like? Yeah, everybody froze. Okay, there we go.
I was going to say, what happened? I don't think Tom was there for the weather.
No, it was just very hot and sticky when I was there. So, yeah, poor Mike was manning the grill, and he moved some pounds doing that.
Oh yeah. It was pretty hot and humid the first day. I think that's the one thing everybody was complaining about, unpacking the cars and in the heat and setting up, and yeah, just grilling and cooking out in that weather. It felt like 20, 30 degrees hotter. But yeah, the storm we got hit with, it wasn't bad, but the winds were, oh man, we lost 2 10x10s. They blew away. I thought everybody's tents were going to be gone.
Did you catch them at least?
No, the tents surprisingly stayed. Hinsdale House lost their 10x10 tent, and I lost my 10x10. And you know, you gotta love everybody that volunteers at Hinsdale. That were there helping, just in the rain, trying to bring all this food in and into the house, and it's blowing away, and it was funny. It was funny, but we ended up calling it. By the end, everybody was like, "We survived the windstorm of Hinsdale 2023."
That needs to be a shirt.
It was good. It was good. I actually thought about getting those made. But yeah, it was fun.
Well, and it's Hinsdale. So of course, I'm sure all of us have been there multiple times.
Yeah.
You never know what to expect. So the fact that we were hoping to have just a beautiful weekend and Hinsdale is like, no, you guys are gonna have to suffer a little bit of rain and wind.
I think I was more scared of the weather than I was any spirit there, because those winds were they were pretty intense at times.
But you guys survived. So that's the
Yes.
plus. But the spirits, since you brought them up, were they playing nice?
From my end, definitely wasn't anything negative at all that I felt or experienced there. That was my third time there, and I've never really experienced anything dark or malicious or anything like that. But always interesting, always something happening. And Mike can tell of his experience right when he got there. He heard something.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that. I had just gotten there. It wasn't when I just got there. I was there for a little bit already, but I was unloading my car, and Matrix, Melody's son, was running around. And adorable kid, by the way.
Is so
He
cute.
is so funny. I have to tell you what he said at this event. I was crying. It was so funny.
It was good.
But so we after I'm unloading, I go in the bathroom. Well, no, I go walking in the house, the main door. As I'm going in, Matrix is coming out. So I hold the door open for him. I go into the bathroom, and as I'm walking through the house, now I'm in there by myself. The only people that were there were me, Melody, the guy she brought, Matrix, and her dog. Everybody was outside but me. So you remember everything that happened last time you and I were there.
Mm-hmm.
I walked in and I was like, I'm back. Do you remember me? I was like, this time you're going to have to really scare me out of this house. And I mean, scare me. So I'm using the bathroom and I just hear footsteps all over the house. And I'm just like, it's probably Matrix. Maybe he came back in, was running around. So I go outside and I ask Melody, I'm like, hey, how long has Matrix been out here? And she goes, he's been out here with us probably the last 5 minutes. I was like, so from the time I walked in the house to the time I'm walking out now. And she's like, yeah, pretty much. It's been about that long. And I looked at the house. I was like, thank you for that.
Now, I have to say,
I was like, but
okay.
you're going to have to do a little bit better than that.
Yeah, and I'm interested because I want to ask Tom because, Mike, when we were there together, it's on Paraflix. People can watch it if they want to. But
Awesome
when we were
episode,
there,
awesome.
well, thank you.
Yeah,
we have an all right, producer and editor. We'll throw that out there. But when we were there, and a lot of the times that I've been there, it's always been a little bit darker, a little bit more, I don't want to say malicious, but it likes to play mind games. So the fact that you've always had pleasant experiences, like, that baffles me. Do you go in just expecting good stuff, or why do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I always try to go in with positivity. Like at first when you pulled up for this event, I mean, you see Melanie, you see your young son outside, the dog, everybody's laughing, having fun. We sit around the campfire, we eat, we tell stories. And I just think the atmosphere of that puts the house and the land at ease. So we're not going in there being negative and yelling and demanding stuff. And so I didn't, like I said, it was quiet and it felt peaceful, and the stuff that I experienced inside the house was good. Now down by the hanging tree would have been of a different story, but inside the house it was it felt good. And usually, like, I've been there for the guided events with paranormal celebrities each time I went, and like that, it's just a funner atmosphere. Instead of I know close people that done overnights, private overnights, and they've been run out of that place. They've got scratched. This is too intense for them, and they've run from that place. But like I said, to times I've been, it's been fun, good atmosphere and everything like that.
Well, and I laugh when you say that because, Hinsdale was one of the very first locations I ever went to. And the episode that you're talking about, that was the first time that I've ever investigated, ever filmed anything. And I remember after that night with everything that had happened, and there was a lot more that wasn't on the show.
Okay, yeah, Mike was saying that too, yeah.
Yes, when I got in the car, I looked Mike dead in the eyes and I was like, I will never come back to this effing location. and then I did. And I just like we drove to Wildwood. I didn't want to stay the night and Mike wanted to. And I'm like, nope, take me somewhere else. I'm leaving. We went to Wildwood and stayed the night there. And
yeah, what a backup plan.
Well, I figured Dr. Henderson would keep me safe. But I'm like,
but they did.
He did, and that was one of the most peaceful nights I've ever had at Wildwood. But
we had no evidence when we filmed there.
It was so quiet. But I've also been back to Hinsdale like 5 times. So even after swearing and saying I was never going back, I went back. But yeah, so tell us about some of the experiences you had in the house, and then I definitely want to hear about the hanging tree too.
Yeah, so inside the house, Mike wanted me to investigate with the team, so it was just Mike, Melanie, Robin, Melanie's friend Skylar, I think his name was. And I just wanted to go back up to the master bedroom because from your episode, you guys were just nailing evidence, EVPs, K2 meter hits back and forth. So I'm like, all right, let's just go there. And we get some K2 hits. I'm not sure if Melanie might have caught a possible EVP on a recorder answering one of our burst sessions. But then Mike was like, hey, why don't you just go in the closet and we'll all exit the house for a while.
Like yourself?
Yeah.
Michael.
10, 15 minutes in there alone. It's like, you don't have to do it. But when you put it like you don't have to do it, you have to do it. So
you did?
Yeah. So
little mind trick.
I'm so proud of you. I would have been like sweating bullets in there. Like, oh, I mean, I know what happened to Mike in there. So
yeah. So I went in there and like I told them, I didn't hear footsteps, but I felt them. I felt people walking through the house. And you feel that vibration, and then I would get the tingling up my back of my neck to my hair, and it was that was interesting inside the house. I know Mike did another little session with another group with their was that like a Boo Bear type thing with the lights in the kitchen?
Yeah, yep.
And they seem to be getting a lot of activity with that too. But yeah, I'm proud of myself because that's something a year or so ago I would have never done.
Yeah, I'm proud of you. That's impressive.
I love how, like, when we did all of that, when we went in, the team, Melody, Robin, and I took you in, we let everybody know, hey, we're going to be in this house for about a half hour. Everybody, please just mind we're investigating. You have the land to yourself. You have the tents. You can hang out, do whatever you want. Just don't come in the house for this amount of time. And everybody was really respectful of that.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was a great, Tom said earlier, it was a very respectful, calm, nice, just environment.
Yeah, to piggyback off of what Mike just said, I've done a lot of guided investigations, and some of them like 8:15 sharp. We're breaking off into 3 groups of 4, and 15 minutes later, you need to meet back here. We're going here. Mike and the team was just like, hey guys, you want to investigate? Go investigate. You want us to investigate with you? Come ask us. We'll go someplace with you. We'll do what you want to do. Want to sit around the campfire, tell stories? By all means. You want to look for UFOs? By all means. It was an awesome, awesome setting. I love that. So I didn't feel any pressure. I felt like I could just do whatever I wanted to do, and I think everybody there felt the same way. So it was a really, really good time. I appreciate Mike putting that out.
Oh, that's
the rest of the team.
That's absolutely, that's what I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be just this awesome hangout on a weekend of people that are at a great location, just having a good time, camping and I didn't want anything really scheduled or really too many plans.
Well,
You
and
know,
we
we
even
did do an experiment, but
yeah, but we even talked about that, when Mike brought the idea to the team and wanted to do this, we were all like, yeah, great idea. And Mike from the beginning was like, look, I want it to be casual. I want people to be comfortable. I want it to be a group of friends hanging out and everyone getting to know each other and just seeing like the different, places that we're from and how we investigate and this and that. It was never, we're like, we don't want it to be like clockwork where you have to do this, and this. And so I'm so excited to hear that that's how it went, and that the way that Mike envisioned it and how we all kind of wanted it to go, that's how it went, because it makes it easier for everybody and it makes it more enjoyable. You don't have, like you said, that pressure, that anxiety, and all that.
Yeah. And
that was
again, Mike, thank you so much, because that wasn't the original plan for that weekend.
absolutely.
So I hope everybody.
Yeah, you were supposed to go somewhere else.
Oh no, even you were supposed to film there for for Beyond the Dimensions, and you
Yeah,
still
we were supposed
kept
to.
that
Yeah.
spot, and you
I
opened
don't
it
know
up.
whose fault that was.
What?
But you opened that up for people to come and experience Hinsdale.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean that's big of you. That was really big of you. And
It's also because I know Hinsdale is very hard to get into. It's booked up. And I wanted to throw it out there for people to come, hang out. Even Beyond the Dimensions, while we were there, we were supposed to do some B-roll shots and do some promo videos and pictures, and
They didn't do it.
we didn't do it.
They did no work that they were supposed to.
I didn't want anybody to feel pressure. I wanted everybody, even us as a team, to just hang out and just be our natural selves, because these are the people you're on the road with. You're traveling, like, be your natural self. And what better way to show your natural self than camping?
Well, and that's how bonds are built too. I feel like if
Right.
we go in with a plan and a schedule and an itinerary, it's more business. And we didn't want it to be business. We wanted it to be forming friendships and forming bonds with people and kind of make it that way. I hate to use the word para-unity because I feel like it's overplayed. But you guys know what I mean? Like, we wanted it to be like, hey, we want to get to know you, get to know us. Somebody was supposed to FaceTime me and didn't.
My service was terrible.
Oh, it was bad out there.
Don't you cover for him.
No,
He's still in trouble.
To Wi-Fi. Even connected to Wi-Fi.
I walked about 50 yards away from the house and had 3 text messages from my wife from an hour or so before. I'm like, oh.
Well, it's funny. He wasn't able to FaceTime me to meet everybody, but I did get pictures of my face on a one-legged zombie.
Funny how that works out. I
know. I'm like, okay, I see how that goes.
I mean, I had the idea the night before. So the night before, I had the idea of printing like your picture, like hundreds of them.
Hundreds.
I was gonna put them over random places on random things.
God.
And have people hold them in front of their face, and I was like, crap, I don't have ink. I don't have time to do this. So I put I think I sent it to Robin and Melody.
No, you sent it in a group chat because I think I replied with, "Oh dear Lord."
Oh yes, I said yes.
Mm-hmm.
So the next morning, I'm on the drive to Hinsdale, and I'm like, I have a feeling Robin printed one of these pictures out.
Of course she did.
And I show up, and she pulls it right out of her folder. I was like, I knew you did that for some reason. And we had fun with it.
Well, and I know I got left on the refrigerator too. So
your face blew in the windstorm in the rain.
Well, yeah, and I was a little crinkled,
saved you.
And I'm stuck on the refrigerator. So.
You could thank us for saving you.
Wasn't there an idea with the balloon floating around? Her face on the balloon, and
I did want to do that too.
New York's gonna think it's like a picture of a missing girl, and I'm gonna end up on the news.
Who knows? Maybe you could be one of the photos of the girls who got killed by the guys who lived there and buried under the house.
Yeah, true.
Maybe you're a picture of one of the victims.
We could start new rumors.
So I have to tell you about Melody's son. I have to tell you what he said.
Okay. Should I be
So
scared?
I'm sitting by the fire. There's this older guy there. Very, very nice guy. He's on another team and very cool. I talked to him quite a bit, and Melody brought their dog, Chloe, and she's running around. She's having a good time. And the older guy who was there was petting the dog, and he was getting his food and just playing with the dog, petting the dog. And Melody's son, Matrix, comes walking over and goes, "Mommy, why is that old man petting my dog?"
Oh, no.
Really loud. And Melody's face.
She was probably mortified.
I was crying. It was so
she
funny.
mortified? As a mother, I'd be like, oh my God, don't say shh.
And then did he say he's going to bite him? And Melody's like, no, Chloe doesn't bite.
I was in the middle of taking a bite out of my hamburger, and I'm just like, are you kidding me right now?
Oh my gosh. Oh, you gotta love little kids, though. They really do say some of the craziest things.
Oh geez, he had quite a few snappers that weekend, but that one will forever be golden.
Oh my gosh. So tell me what happened at the hanging tree.
Well, Mr. John Ward wanted to go down there with a some sort of ITC device. So yeah, I got an SB7 my equipment, and he's like, yeah, I got some good hits out here the last time. Let's go take a walk. And Robin and Tiffany, who was the stand-in for Dan, went down there, and a couple more people. Unacceptable, Dan.
Unacceptable, Dan.
I'll have to yell at him later.
And we walked down there, and there's all sorts of stories about the collector collecting souls down there and stuff like that. And we weren't getting anything on the ITC, but we started hearing like native screaming, like almost like before, like a war cry. It had a cadence to it. We were going, is that a coyote? But it was the same tone, same sound, and it happened like every 3 beats, and it would go off again. And then we were getting some thermal hits. And what ended up happening is we all ended up being like in a haze. We'd be like, okay, let's go. And we would take 2 steps. We'd hear like a twig snap or something. We'd all stop, and we all start peering in the woods and taking a couple of steps around. And then finally, when we started making our way out, I said, oh, John, that was an interesting 15 minutes. He goes, dude, it's been like 45 minutes, almost an hour. We're all like, what?
You guys are gone for quite some time.
Yeah, we all thought it was real quick. And we all felt a real pull on our backs when we were leaving there, because John said any trapped spirits, more than welcome to come back to the house with us. You don't have to stay here anymore. He's like, you can follow us to the house and that's it, but please don't feel like you're trapped here. And we all felt like we got like a monkey on our back leaving there. So hopefully that did happen. They were able to go to the house. But then Mike, myself, and John went back down there later, and Mike was getting some interesting feelings that ended up getting backed up was that new camera app, right? You said you saw something tall. That might have been the collector, and when John took the picture,
yeah,
something came up that basically described what you were seeing and feeling. So that was very interesting as well. But yeah, that was the spot for the night. I think that was amazing down there.
Wow. And it's crazy. It seems like Hinsdale never disappoints.
Never. Never does.
No.
And I told the story during the campfire stories. One of my previous trips out there on my Ovulus down in the basement, I got the phrase "Spec Peter," and we were trying to make the connection. Who's Peter? Who's Peter? And a couple months later, I watched the documentary "Alone at the Hinsdale," and the investigator, almost in the same exact spot with the same Ovulus, got Expect Peter on there, and he said years before he got some sort of geoport saying Peter was a demon, and I'm not
Was
saying
that
it was
Nick?
a demon, but it was just weird that same exact phrase, same spot on the same type of device came through
Yeah.
months and months apart. So that was
That documentary, was that Nick that was in it?
yes.
Mike?
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, we've investigated with him at
Yeah.
OSR, and he's a great investigator as well. We've done a couple things with him. That
Yeah.
is crazy. And I did watch that episode, so it's interesting that you got the same thing that he did.
Yeah, and I didn't even know about it at the time until months later when I, watched it on Paraflix, that documentary, and I was like, wow, that's just eerie. You get the chills all over again. So
But isn't that such a great feeling to know that you're justified because somebody else got it as well? And it's like, okay, because in this field, people think we're crazy. People think, we make things up or we hear what we want to hear. So to have someone else that, maybe you don't know have that experience is it's so incredible to me.
Shit, I know I'm crazy.
Well,
People
I
don't
wasn't
need
going
to
to
think it.
say it out loud, but
Oh, I don't think Tom was there. I think it was Saturday night. We also survived a bobcat.
no,
What?
that was my night too.
Was it the
Yeah.
bobcat?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
up at the Given Tree.
So I
Yeah.
I have to say, when we knew that this event was happening and Mike's like, oh, we're all going to camp out, I called Kayla, who is another Beyond the Dimensions teammate. I was like, Kayla, I'm not getting eaten by bears. I'm going to sleep in my car. So to hear that you guys had a bobcat, ugh,
You could hear it.
really?
Yeah, a couple guys went up to the Giving Tree and actually saw it. And it was, yeah.
Was anybody... I don't know if we'll get. Was
Scared?
anybody carrying? No, are you?
I was gonna say
No,
I
was
was
any-
scared.
Was anybody had a weapon? Just
No,
to be
not
safe.
without,
Courtney said it was
I would hope.
purring at you. It just wanted to play.
yeah, it was. We heard a loud bang up there, a crash or something, like a tree limb fall or something. When we were all around the campfire, and about three of us said, "Let's go." So we ran up there. And immediately we caught the eye shine, and it kind of took a couple steps forward, and then I ran off, and then all we saw was a stub instead of a tail, and it had pointy ears, and we're like, "Uh-oh, yeah, that was a bobcat." It ran off, but
I would have been the fastest person you've ever seen. I'm slow, but I would have ran like I was in a freaking Olympic. I didn't know. And Courtney says that you should have been like, come here, little kitty kitty.
yeah,
That's not a little kitty.
no, that was not a little kitty.
Oh my gosh, that is so crazy. And I think people forget too, what is it, 10 acres of land that Hinsdale sits on that is technically owned. And there's so
I think
many
something
woods
like
out
that.
there. Yeah, because when I was out there were deer larger than I've ever seen. And you could hear coyotes and wolves and all these different things. And I think people forget that when they go.
Yeah, I know one time I went out there and we went to where the old barn was, and we're using the flashlights, and we just saw a mound of poop, and one of the guys there was just like, "Oh, that's fresh bear crap." And we're like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's bear." And sure enough, we saw a couple tracks in the snow that was still there. Like, yeah, let's head back inside.
Yeah,
we don't have anything to do with that.
I would much rather take my chances with the spirits of Hinsdale than a bear.
Yeah.
Because then I will be
for
a
sure.
spirit of Hinsdale. Oh my gosh, that's terrifying. So it's funny that your guys' the most terrifying experiences with wildlife.
A bobcat and weather.
Yeah. Yeah, because Hinsdale, it's funny because it does kind of cater to the type of people that are there. And not saying that Mike and I are bad people, but our experience was so much different.
Yeah.
And I do wonder if it's because Matrix was there. He's small, he's a child, everyone was having fun, and it was just a lighter atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Compared to when Mike and I went in there, we're like, okay, you're dead, we want to talk to you. And they came off a little more aggressive.
Yeah, they're like, okay, you want to talk? We'll talk.
Yeah. And I mean, one of my most memorable experiences there, aside from what happened to Mike, and I think it's in the episode, is it was like 7 o'clock in the morning. We had that music box and we were doing B-roll. So I turned it and had it playing. And I think I let it play for like 3 minutes as I filmed it. And then it was probably 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, the following morning, when we were filming, and it just starts going off. And it
That's
didn't
the second time that's done
go
that
off
to you.
the entire. Yeah. And it didn't go off the entire time. We were setting up, we were nothing, but it went off when we were filming Mike in that closet. And every time I go there, I look at that music box. I'm like, I see you.
Yeah, Hinsdale is such an amazing place. So I heard about it through Nick Groff and Katrina with their show Paranormal Lockdown. I watched that episode, and then I started with my own team out here in New Hampshire, and somebody went out there and like, we got to go. You have to go. You have to go. I'm like, 7.5 hour drive. I don't know. They're like, no. It's worth it. It's worth it. And yes, it is. Because I won this contest. I left at 5 a.m. on Friday, got to my hotel room, went straight to Hinsdale, investigated to like 2, 3 in the morning, slept for a couple hours, and drove another 7.5 hours back that same day. So it worth every moment.
I mean, that's dedication. I mean, to drive 7.5 hours for a contest, I don't think I would have done that. But we had people came from New Hampshire, Maryland. Another couple came from Toronto.
Yeah.
So I mean, for this event, so
Incredible.
Nobody was local except for the volunteers and people that have been there a lot. But it was cool to see the distance people came for this.
Well, and that just shows you what kind of pull Hinsdale has. I mean, some of the bigger locations that I've been to, I've been to Gettysburg and Penn State and, Pennhurst and Monroe and all these different locations, OSR. But every time somebody asks me, what's your favorite location? I still to this day say Hinsdale. And I don't know why. It just, I feel like it's never a disappointment. Every time you go, you get something different, whether it's good, bad, or in between. I've never felt like I was going to, forever be at Hinsdale as one of the new spirits, but it does. It plays mind games. It draws you in. And even when I told Mike I'm never coming back, it was like a week or two later. And I'm like, okay, Mike, I have to tell you something. I'm like, I really want to go back.
Well, it's funny that after my first time out there, like a day or two later, I get an email and it's Dan Kleiss, and I'm like, what's this about? It's a questionnaire about your experience about Hinsdale, and it's asking, do you feel like you need to come back? Did the house leave an impression on you? And like all these different questions about it. I was like, actually, I have been thinking about it since the investigation. Yep. It's a weird place, and props to Dan too for what he's done with that.
Yes.
The story to think that he just bought his own house for his family and then quickly turned around and bought another property like within a few months is just crazy to open it up for paranormal investigation. That's just crazy to think about. And to do all the work he's done on the land, the QR codes that are throughout the house to give you information. You scan them if you're there, gives you a history lesson. Like that kind of stuff is just amazing.
There was a point in time when we were there, we actually spent like 5-10 minutes actually talking about Dan. We just had stories. We were sharing stories of Dan and the kind of person he is, and how the paranormal field is lucky to actually have at least one person like Dan.
Yes.
And, we spent about 5-10 minutes just. Dan's head was going like this. He heard us.
He floated right out of that graduation he was in.
Well, but you know what? That you guys are right, because I mean, we've all known Dan, we've all met him, and he really is an incredible person. But then also what he's doing with Hinsdale just shows like his heart is in the right place, his mind is in the right place, and I've never heard anybody ever say a bad word about him. And I don't think you could. Even if you
No,
tried, I don't think you could find anything bad to say about Dan. He's just truly a good, wholesome soul.
Yeah,
Dan is one of those. So the very first time I saw Dan, and this is true, and I don't even care if he hears it, but when I very first saw Dan, I was a little intimidated. I literally was like, oh, here's this, other paranormal guy on TV going to this Paracon and la-di-da, just those things that run through your mind, and you see them everywhere. And I was just a little intimidated by him, not in a bad way, but I just knew there was something awesome about him. So when I first met him in person, was at MadCon. It was about 3 years ago, and we've been friends since. Like instantly. Dan's one of those that he doesn't care if you're on TV. And he works with Nick Gruff. He's runs Nick Gruff's business pretty much and owns Hinsdale House. And he doesn't care if you've been on TV. He doesn't care who you are. If you go to him for help or advice or anything, he's always there. And
he is.
He's a great guy.
Well, and I know
shut up about Dan.
No, the first time I met him is when we filmed at Hinsdale, and I remember being like, okay, because I know that he had been in the field so long, he had done so much stuff, and I'm just like, okay, don't be annoying, don't ask too many questions. And then now that I know Dan, I'm like, oh, I should have just asked all the questions I wanted to and been annoying and like that little sister that just nitpicks. But no, he really is great, and every time I've ever messaged him, he gets right back to me, and normally with a comment that I'm not sure if he's joking or not, and I have to figure it out. But
right, yeah.
But that's Dan.
That's what I love about this field too. Is there's a lot of people in this field who have done things that have made a name for themselves, but they're not like super famous, but they've made such an impact to those that are building and growing. People look up to them, and I'm gonna call Robin out. I'm sure she's not watching. She was actually nervous to meet Melody.
Oh, I love Melody. Was
Robin
she really?
had never met Melody, but Robin was actually nervous to meet Melody
this past weekend.
Until the camping. Yeah,
but I could
she was
see
like,
that
"I'm so nervous."
I mean, I could see that because Melody, she's another incredible person that's just a good soul, and the way, when we investigated with her at SK Pierce, just kind of watching her style and being another female in the field, seeing how quickly we became friends and how great we got along, and just watching her style and how she investigated and the questions she asked and the table tipping that you guys did. It was so cool to see that. So I could see if I hadn't met Melody before, I'd probably be a little nervous. I'd be like, oh, I hope she likes me.
Well, that's what I mean, is they built names for themselves, and we looked up to Melody. We admired her from for her work and what she did previously, and we filmed SK Pierce Mansion with her, and I think having her as part of this team now just adds not just that combination of the style of investigating that each one of us has, but also what she brings to the table, helping behind the camera.
Oh, she's
from
brilliant.
Working with Nick Groff, from working with all these other teams, and she's already given me pointers and ideas on how to make things run better. So I'm really excited. This one's gonna be it's gonna be good.
One thing I can say about her that really resonated with me was I watched a show with her former team, and one of their crew members got attacked by a spirit, down and out, and everybody, a bunch of people were trying to rush back up there to go, hey, what's going on? What happened? And she literally stopped everybody on the way up there. Goes, wait, are you guys okay? You witnessed that? Is everybody here in the right state of mind? Is everybody okay right now? to go back up there because
Mhm.
because it was a situation where everybody could have easily went in there and be like, "Who did that? You have no right. Show yourself." And it could have happened again, but she took a real quick moment to check everybody before they ran up there in the heat of the moment, and that says a lot. That says a lot as
Yeah.
an investigator to have that kind of mindset and to
Well,
go into
and
situations.
that's important because if you go into a location, we never really know what we're walking into, and you can always get into something a little scary, a little serious. It can also be fun, and I don't want anybody to get scared, but there are certain situations where you have to be with people that you trust. You have to be with people who know your mannerisms, and if your face starts to change or the way you act starts to, they have to be like, okay, I got to get this person out because something's not right. So you truly have to trust your team, or you're putting yourself in a vulnerable situation that you might end up in something scary, dangerous, or some type of trouble.
I got a quick story about Dan for what he did with me for me one time, and it was for the Warren Seekers Paracon last year in Connecticut, and I wanted to help out with his booth. And he's like, no, walk around, enjoy yourself. Come back around, and Nick and Tess were about to speak. Say, dude, can you watch my booth? I'm gonna go film them. He's like, I'll make it worth your while. Don't worry. I said, yeah, sure. So he did that, came back, and he goes, you stand right here, don't move. Nick and Tessa came out, and I ended up taking pictures for everybody that was in line to meet them because everybody was like switching phones back and forth. I'm like, let me just take pictures, everybody. So everybody gets a picture. Deal was done, and Dan was like, hey, this is Tom, big fan. Can you guys take a picture with him? And they did, and then he's like, Tom's going to walk you guys to your car. Make sure you get all right. I was like, oh my God, I'm walking Nick and Tessa, all right? And I'm fanboying, of course. Oh my gosh, I'm walking Nick and Tessa out. And they're the sweetest people, but we had this awesome conversation out, and then they're like, we're hungry. Want some Chick-fil-A? And I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm still like scared and like, you sure you don't want Chick-fil-A? I'm like, yes, thank you so much. But like that's what I mean, Dan didn't have to do that. And he made sure I'm no bouncer, but he was like, yeah, Tom will walk you out, make sure you guys get out there okay. And so I'm like shooing off people. No, they gotta leave, let's go. But yeah, Dan's
That's
amazing.
funny.
Yeah, it gave me an opportunity to work for his store online. I'm one of his ambassadors, and I love doing that. I love promoting for the Hinsdale, and whatever money I get from when I put right back into it, I buy myself an extra shirt. And so just keep it rolling for that place because he's doing awesome work out there.
He is. I'm gonna have to tell him I'm gonna have to send him this episode and be like, hey, we really promoted you on this show. Be like, now get us back in the Hinsdale.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
No, but it sounds like...
I can't. Sometimes I can't look at you sometimes, Ashley.
Why?
Am I the only one that thinks we look so alike? It is creepy. I swear, if I put a wig on, I am you.
You're the one that just made that weird mic, so now we're gonna start.
Ashley and I have already had this conversation, but
okay. So for anybody listening, I'm getting a wig that is half black, half blonde. Mike, you're putting it on.
It's just so everybody sees.
I'll even give you my pink tank top if you want to.
No, that's too far. That's too far.
No, Mandy says yes. You have.
I saw this. I saw a
want.
picture of you, and I was like, a lot of our features. It's got to be the Italian side. All of our features are the same. It's weird.
That just means that we're.
Bill,
awesome.
You are not my dad.
My dad said, "Oh hell no."
You are not my dad, Bill.
That's
I miss
awesome,
you, buddy.
So I'm really excited for.
If we found out we were like long lost siblings.
Oh no, really?
I don't know.
I'm really excited to see what you guys come up with for your run with the Beyond Dimensions coming up. It's going to be awesome. Like I said, I watched those 2 episodes of Paraflix that you guys were able to put out on there, and it looks like your team just got stronger with your new additions, and it's going to be a good watch. Yeah,
I'm excited. We have new people. We have a teammate named Kayla who she's completely new to the field. She's going to be, yeah, she's done investigations and she's gone on like a couple public tours and private things and things like that. But she's going to really be working with Robin on some camera work and go into some of these locations and seeing how filming works. So I'm excited about that. And we have Melody and Robin who are seasoned and Mike who is clearly seasoned. And I'm excited. I don't know, Mike, how much are we allowed to talk about? Because we do have filming coming up in just a couple weeks.
Only thing I don't know. We can talk about anything. I was debating on, I know a lot of teams like to keep the secret and build the hype of where it is we're going to go, where it is we're going to be at. But I think I don't know if that's something we should do. I want to be able to do Facebook lives at the locations. Yeah. I want to be able to, give the opportunity to do a Patreon and
well, we could always say
people that do that could do a live virtual tour while we're there, kind of things like that.
So we could always say where we're going, but we've had conversations behind closed doors of how we're going to be different and the different things we're doing. We don't have to talk about that. They have to wait to see that, but we can always talk about the location. I mean, I can't because I don't know anything about it. I tend to be the one that goes in blind with no information whatsoever, and everyone else knows. And then we have to, match it up if it works. But I at least know where we're going.
I mean, maybe we can run that in the group chat and see what everybody thinks.
And maybe...
Because I want to be able to do some lives and talk to people while we're there and build the hype up. Just things like that, I think, are a lot better than always keeping it a secret.
Well, we can even say that depending if they're around, you might see some faces that are recognizable. Yeah. I hate secrets. I'm not a good secret keeper. Tom, make him tell us.
Nope.
He'll listen to you. He won't listen to me.
What? Yeah. Nope.
You have better chances than I do.
He's playing it close to the vest. I mean, I got to respect that.
Yeah.
But it's going to be exciting, though. Like you guys said, Melanie's an excellent investigator. I met Robin. She's amazing. She was the idea she was coming up with to, do some little B-roll filming and stuff like that. But yeah, you guys are going to do good. I can't wait to see.
So for someone who has seen the episodes, is there anything that you'd want to see in the new things coming up? Or is there anything that you thought that you liked that we did? Or any advice of, hey, you guys, that sucked, don't do it again?
It's hard. I felt like you guys, I don't want to say old school, but it wasn't like a lot of high-tech gear. There wasn't, SLSs or XLSs everywhere and, Ovuluses and all this other stuff. You guys, really went off a feeling, K2 meter, a digital recorder, and a camera, and went at it. And, people will say, yeah, that's the best way. Other ways are this. We're all after the same goal, hopefully, in this field. And it doesn't matter how we get there. But I like that feel. You guys felt more gritty, more raw doing it that way. And then having this huge production and all these gadgets everywhere. And it was good. It was good to see.
Oh, no, I love that. Thank you. Because when we did those filmings, that was something that Mike was very adamant on because Jason and I were both very new. So we're like, well, what equipment, what should we do? And Mike's like, let's just feel it out, see what happens. And when he came back to us with some of the editing that he had done, there were EVPs that were so incredible. The one from Hinsdale where you hear, I think they say they're listening. I had goosebumps because we didn't hear it in real time. And I remember being like, Mike, how did we catch this stuff? And he's like, when you take away the bells and whistles, they're more willing to talk.
Yeah. I mean, we weren't armed that much either when we went up there ourselves. But yeah, that seems to be the best way to go at it. Is you're the best piece of equipment going in there, feeling around, getting a feeling for the place, and then you go off of that. All right, I'm going to break out a K2. If I start getting hits, all right, I was just going to use a digital recorder, do a burst session, play it back. All right, now I got EVPs. Let's kick it up a little bit and let's put something else down to verify. But yeah, I like the way you guys attacked those episodes. It was fun watch, and I can't wait to see what's next.
Well, thanks. Yeah, and I think too, people forget that, you know, when we go into these locations, a lot of them are from 1800s, early 1900s. The people in that time, they're not going to know what a SLS is. They're not going to know what REM pods are or K2s. And I feel like if I were a ghost or a spirit and somebody came into my home with all these weird looking things, I'd be like, no, I'm going in that room. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what that is. And, you know, they didn't even know what cell phones were. So it's like, I do feel sometimes we get more responses the simpler we are.
Yep, absolutely. I agree.
So good job, Mike, on that one. I'll give you a little credit today. But we do have about 5 minutes left. Is there anything else you guys want to tell us? I know that there was a witness from the exorcism of the house that was there. So anything left that you want to share with everybody?
Well, I wasn't there for the witness. That was on Saturday night.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was Saturday.
Oh, Mike, it's all you then.
The shaking in the closet. Yeah, listening to Paul's stories, I'll tell you what. You want to talk about somebody that can tell a story. It's Paul. It's Paul. Everything down to detail, emotion, sarcasm, everything. It was just highly entertaining. All the stories, everything that he told everybody was just, I don't know, something else. It was something different.
Just incredible. So with that, I do want to tell everybody, you know, if you haven't had the chance, get to Hinsdale. Absolutely. Get there, investigate, have your own experiences. If you're too scared to go alone, call us. The three of us will be more than happy to go and help you investigate. But thank you, Tom. Thank you, Mike, for being on tonight. Thank you for holding down the fort at the event. And I'm sorry I couldn't be there, but, you know, thank you guys for everything.
It'll always be another time.
That's true. Hopefully we can get it going again, we'll say. But like I said, thank you for being on the show, sharing your experiences. Everyone, I'll be back next week. And if you have any questions, concerns, or want to hit up a location, get a hold of the three of us. We're down.
Thanks, Todd and Beaver.
Guys, thank you so much.
Good night, everyone. See you next week.
Bye, everybody.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.